痛いって言ってんだろ。
そっか、男になったんだね。
は？なんだよそれ、どういう意味？
なんか飽きちゃった。終わり。
おい。
The Shiunji Family Children. This was episode number 5, and this week I dedicated myself to trying to be more positive about this show. I think that by this point, we're 5 episodes in. If you're here, I'm here still. I think there's just some things that we have to accept. Arata is going to continue to get flustered by his sisters. That's just not going to change. Is it right that he gets hot and bothered? No. Is it very weird? Yes. Is it going to change? No. That's just simply the way the character's written. He's ready to pop a boner at all 4 or 5 of his sisters, whatever number it is. So it's just not going to change. Is the story very good? No. The story's not very good. I think at the end of this episode, they introduced what looked like Arata. Maybe that was his dad. It's really hard to say specifically, but it looked like maybe that's a future version of Arata or some other world version of Arata. There was a conversation that he had with his dad that, you know, he has room number 8 or something. It's like, oh, that's another dimension or something. I don't know. It sounds like the show's going to introduce some kind of stupid storyline that could potentially even be like sci-fi oriented or like, I don't know. It's just some mystery for no reason, to be 100% honest. It sounds like it could introduce something to that nature. So I don't think the story is very good at all. Because like at the end of the day, what's the point of all this? Just to find Arata a mate, to find him a wife. You know, he's already going to inherit the Shiunji family. You know, his dad said that he picked the right person, which means that Arata is going to protect the family. So whether he chooses one of the sisters or whether he chooses a mate of his own choosing, he's going to protect the family. So it sounds like his dad, made the right decision there. He just has to deal with, all of his sisters. And at this point, it's a semi-harem anime. So, he could choose all of his sisters, F it, right? So why am I still here? Well, I was like, you know what? Let me just judge the show. Let me just, the show's not going to be better than a 7 ever because of all the things it doesn't get right. Bad story, bad plot, badly written main character, no real story for what we see on the surface. So what does it do good to get it maybe a 7? I think this episode is maybe one of the best ones of the season so far. I'll say like a 6.5 out of 10. Maybe a 7 at best. Well, what it does really good is it's very beautiful. The art's extremely good. The fan service is really good. We're getting a lot of, this episode we had the blue hair girl. I don't remember what her name is at this point. I'll tell you in like 2 seconds. We had the blue hair girl, and we had like a lot of body parts and a lot of feet. The creator of Rent a Girlfriend is very a big fan of feet, apparently. So we had Seiha, which is a blue hair girl, kind of be thrusted all over our screen, which, I didn't mind. I think she is one of the better designed characters, all over our screen. So we had a lot of good fan service. And I think the other thing that it could do good at times is comedy. But I think this is mostly going to be held up by its fan service. So I think, if you're going to stick with it, I think you need to make a decision. Is the fan service good enough to keep you here? Because the romance is not really going to be here. I think we might get hints of it, but I don't think we'll get anything substantial. I just don't think so. And I can tell you that we won't, because if you pull from the 3 or 4 seasons, whatever it's with Rent a Girlfriend, what have you really gotten from Rent a Girlfriend? Again, mostly just fan service. You haven't really got anything unless you count the main character blowing his load into a bunch of Kleenex every episode as something substantial, which I don't. So I don't think we're really getting in there. So it's just we have to be satisfied with just the fan service on a looking perspective. And comedy, it might be funny at times, but really it's just going to be the fan service. For me, I like the character Kotono, which is the youngest one. I think she's the best girl out of all of them. And I actually just want to see how vicious, and I want to see what she's going to do to be done with having the title of being the youngest, and she can't love and she can't decide. I want to see how hard she's going to go after Arata, because she's for real. Out of all of them, right? Oka, the pink hair girl, playing games, right? She, she wrestled Arata this episode. Seiha playing games. She played Twister. By the way, boys and girls, if you guys ever want to get close to another person, play Twister. I remember when I was a single man, I had Twister and I played it more than a few times at my single man apartment, and it always trended very well. Highly recommend a game of Twister. So definitely, take that into consideration. We have Bonri, who's playing games. Who knows what the hell's going on with her mind, but she is the continual flirt. And you have Minami, who is just kind of discovering. Like, she's just so sports focused that she might not even realize, she's like the dumb one, the dense one who might not even realize, You have Seiha, who's dense because she's scientific, and then you have Minami, who's dense because she's sports oriented. Then you have Oka, who's too close, but she's just trying to figure out her feelings. She knows there's feelings there. You have Kotono, who's like in love, like she's just not hiding it. And then you have Bonri, who I think is just like, I don't even know, playing games at this point. So I think, again, if you're sticking with the show, I think it's because you either like one or multiple of the girls. I think you like the fan service, But if you don't like those two things, then I think you dropped the show. I don't think you watched the show. And I'm, to be honest, as I'm even talking about it, I'm on the fence of dropping it myself, Even though this was one of the better episodes, all we got was fan service, right? We have Arata, who, he put his hand out, to go and help Seiha because he felt like she was down and depressed. And that ended up being that she's just having a lot of mixed feelings about Arata as her brother. So she wanted to play a very intense game of Twister to figure out those feelings. And I think she's realizing there are feelings there and she just doesn't know what to do with it because that's not how her brain's programmed. So we had a lot of fan service. Then we have Oka and Arata playing video games, and making a call out to their past of, she would always wrestle him when she would lose. She's a sore loser. That happens again here as they're a little bit older, and they end up in a precarious position. And she acknowledges to his face out loud that, he's a man now, which basically means like, take me. And even after she exits the room, she gets flustered. And then the second thing she does is like, don't stop next time, big boy. So it's like, okay, cool. And then you had Kotono this episode, basically telling all the sisters, I'm in love with Arata. I'm going to take him. Y'all are my rivals. Step the F up or get the F out. And I was like, God damn, Kotono. So I love that quite a bit as well, too. So, that's kind of what happened this episode. Then you have that weird letter being, like some little girl writing a letter. So that's either OG dad, that's either OG dad and, that little sister or something is like some dead girl. I don't know. Or that's another universe, or that is like Arata in the future, I don't know. So hard to say. So I'm not going to worry about that. But yeah, some weird stuff just happening at the end. For seemingly no reason, because that's just the way that this author likes to do things. All right. That's it, my friends. I appreciate you being here for another week of Shiunji Family Children. An anime. All right. See you next week. Have a good week.